More rain. All right. I've said it in previous videos. I love the rain. Welcome to my channel. If you are seeing this for the first time, I'm the Bearded Pagan. Here to share some of my thoughts about spirit animals. Now, this is part of my grander set about spirit animals. I talk about in my last video I talked about the deer and the cat, and in today's video I would like to do a little piece on the squirrel, the sparrow, and the spider. A little bit of S's for us today. Goes along with slancha. So well, let's kind of dive right into this. So I've had some people ask me of late, what's it mean if your spirit animal is a squirrel? Well, that's a pretty good question. I had to do a little bit of reading, had to do a little bit of research for this one, and upon kind of reminiscing with some of my other druidic pathers, we have come to the agreement that the squirrel is pretty amazing as a spirit guide. If you look at some of the Norse stories about the squirrel, you've got Ratatoskr. Ratatoskr is the link between the highest and lowest points of the world tree. Well, if you apply that to kind of what we think, you could say that the squirrel was a guide between your lowest points and your highest points. And it's trying to tell you messages. It's trying to bring you messages from the lowest points of your life as well as from the highest points of your life. So you should probably pay attention to the places that the squirrels are taking you, or to the imagery that's applied to the squirrel in your dreams or in your visions and whatnot. Some other things about the squirrel. The squirrels themselves are very social. They're very social creatures. So you can look at that and you can apply that kind of an information grab to you. Squirrels are very social, and in their social, their little family gatherings, they play with one another, they sometimes fight over food, but they also help one another. They, just recently I saw a couple of squirrels who were both going into the same squirrel's little abode in the tree and putting away nuts, and I thought to myself, well, that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's a mated pair of squirrels. And so I sat and I watched for probably 2 hours, and as far as I could gather, they were not a mated pair. They played, they fussed, they threw things at each other, which was rather amusing. I wish I'd have gotten a video of it, but in the end, one of them went in and the other one kind of vanished off somewhere else, up into the woods. It was very interesting that they would be, even this early in the year, they would be helping each other to kind of start storing and prepping food. Not a lot of food has dropped, not a lot of food has come about yet in the year, but that they are out and foraging and out and looking and finding stuff and bringing it back home, and they're doing it for one another. Perhaps that's something that we could take from the guide, from the squirrel as a spirit guide as well, is that sense of familial companionship that comes from that whole familial bonding interaction. Play is important to squirrels, as it is with other mammals. Play is important to squirrels. So perhaps squirrels are telling you to lighten up, to maybe not take life so seriously. The last thing that I kind of want to touch base on about the squirrels is that they historically are representations of perseverance. They store stuff all through the year that they're storing, and then they eat that when they need to eat it. Um, this culture is kind of trained us to the point of, well, we can just go to the store and get it. We don't stockpile anything. We don't worry about canning our own goods anymore. A lot of us struggle sometimes to find, canning equipment or, preservation storage equipment and stuff like that that's going to last for a while if we wanted to try and do the same. And I think that talks a lot about the culture itself. So perhaps the squirrel in your dreams is telling you that you need to worry a little less about what you need right now and kind of focus in on what you might need a month from now, maybe what you need 2 months from now. Start planning. Perhaps that's kind of what it's leading you towards, is the knowledge of planning. Well, that moves us on to the sparrow. Sparrows are an interesting bird. They ducks. Sparrows are an interesting bird. They live in small family groups. They help one another build their nests. So there's another animal about community. They, as far as birds go, they typically represent continuity and structure. They build their nests, they hatch their eggs, they bond for life. That's continuity, that's structure, those are all qualities that I feel like the sparrow can bring for us. Watching the sparrows out in nature, they interact very interestingly. They sing songs that seem kind of specific to one another. And there are instances of other birds that do the same. Crows have their own individual call for the other crows in their family. Dogs recognize each other by scent. So it would make sense that songbirds could recognize each other by sound and possibly other things. But I'm no biologist. I just know what I see and what I hear. And I hear the sparrows on the property here, they communicate with one another, and they use a lot of the same sounds when they're communicating with one another, and they use a lot of different sounds when they're just singing, which is interesting that they sing. Now, some people might say, well, yeah, all birds sing. Birds sing to attract a mate, or they sing to tell other birds what's in the area. Well, what if their singing is just for that, singing? And if that's the case, perhaps what your sparrow is telling you to do is to take your talents and to just practice them. If you're good at something, get excellent at it, If you're good at singing, learn to become an excellent singer. Do something with it. Share it with somebody. Not everybody may like what you sing or how you sing, but everybody can appreciate. Everybody has the capacity to appreciate when somebody has worked hard at doing something and become successful at that. That is the sparrow. I feel like that right there captures a lot of the essence of what the sparrow could be telling you. The sparrow could be telling you, if you are good at something, learn to be great at it. That, I feel like, has been my experience, just sort of watching and kind of intuiting what the sparrows are talking about. I don't speak bird. I have no idea. I would love to be able to speak with the animals as I would speak with, my kids or my wife or my family. It would be amazing. I feel like there's so much to learn from these animals. And that brings me to the spider. Everybody hates spiders. False. I love spiders. But there are a lot of people that do not. But they are an amazing tool for the environment. Spiders are great for catching and killing mosquitoes. They keep fly populations down. They hunt pest bugs. Wolf spiders eat ticks. Wolf spiders hunt down all kinds of creepy crawlies in the woods that could cause you as a wood-going person problems. And wolf spiders, those are some good spiders. They don't really bite. You can pick them up in your hand. If I had any idea where one was, I'd see if I could convince it to crawl up into my hand and show you guys, but I'm not really near one right now that I can see. Anyways, so the spider as a spirit animal, that, my friends, is an interesting journey. And I feel like the spider, as far as spirit animals go, the spider tells us about hard work. The spider talks about controlling what you can control. If you've ever looked at a spider's web, the spider web isn't made exactly the same every time they make it. Spiders make their webs to fit their environments. If there's lots of little twigs and whatnot, they make very intricate little spider webs that connect to everything, so it's nice and strong. If there's not a whole lot, you can see a lot of spiders will add more strings to their web to give it more support. If there is no twigs or anything around, you can find that some spiders will even build more horizontal type webs that, use blades of grass and tall leaves and, fallen sticks and whatnot to build their little nests. Interestingly enough, spiders in some cultures are considered fertility symbols. As far as like how female spiders will carry their eggs around on a sack on their back. And then once the babies hatch, the spiders then go about their spindly business. But that the mothers would care for their eggs so diligently in what some people might consider a non-intelligent creature. And that is interesting to me, that they have those mothering instincts, that they do those mothering things. Very curious. Curiouser and curiouser. So, with that in mind, we've got fertility, we've got hard work. The spider in your dream could be not trying to terrify you. It could just be trying to tell you that perhaps you are looking at what you're doing the wrong way. Maybe you're trying to make your web fit your idea and not make your web fit your area. You need to adapt, you need to overcome, you need to build what you can build strong where you can build it. You need to make what you have work for you while you have it. You may not have it in the future. Walking through the woods, how many of us have gotten spiders or spider webs caught in our beards or hair or glasses or hands? Hoodies. Well, now that spider doesn't have anywhere to live. Now it's got to expend all that energy to make a new web somewhere else that's not going to be the same web that it had built, that had fed it before. You might not have the same interactions with the world around you as you have had previously, and you may need to make that change. I feel like that's a fairly good place to stop. If there are more questions, if people have animals that they would like me to go over and interact with, as far as what it means to have X, Y, and Z animal as your spirit animal, I will be doing more of these videos. As always, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I'm going for that big 1,000. Thank you to all of the people who have currently subscribed to me and those who interact with me through the comments and whatnot. I appreciate your activity on my channel, and I will do my damnedest to make sure that I maintain contact with the people who try and interact with me on the channel. I think that's everything that I need to say on that. And with that, blessings of the forest to everyone, and have a very good day. Ooh, let's take a look at this tree. Nope, that's the beard.
lots of places to perhaps see some of our smaller arachnid brethren. Alrighty, hope you all have a great day. Have a very good day.